So lapping involves using what's called lapping compound. I've got some for Farees here. Now, if you're not experienced, I would say do not try this, okay? This is a pretty dangerous job if you don't know what you're doing. You're taking material off. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clean off this valve. Okay, you don't want to lap more than you have to. I'm gonna hope that the valve itself is lapped in well. If it's not, we'll fix that. Okay, but I'm gonna take some of this lapping compound, which looks like I've got a layer of garbage on top here. Wow, okay, that's interesting. Just throw that away. Gross, wow. Take some of my lapping compound and I'm just gonna put it on. And this has very, 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 very fine grit inside of it. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is take this, sit it in. Yes, this is taking material off. Okay, before I do this, I'm actually going to remove these valves. We're going to end up having to clean the horn again because we don't want to leave lapping compound inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and take those valves out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pressure my top finger here and then just hammer up and down. Okay, my finger's causing a little bit of spring. I'm going to take this part just to give myself some leverage. Give it a little turn. Tap it. Okay. Of course, this doesn't look hard. Again, I would not do this unless you have experience. Tap it again. Give this another little turn. Go. Okay. A little turn. Another turn. Okay, I'm gonna pop this out, see how we're looking. Wipe down the excess and replace the compound. As you can see, we're starting to lap away material on the inside of this valve, which is exactly what we want to do. Go ahead and replace the compound. Okay, a little bit will do it. It's all right. And of course, as we do this, we're also taking away material on the bearing plate. Just a quick update for you, so you can see now we've got the valve pretty much flush with the inside, so we're about maybe halfway there. We need to go in quite a bit further. Just for reference, here's a properly seated valve. We're going to want to go in about that far. So I'm going to kind of eyeball this at first, and then we'll get it all the way down. So now we're looking about right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop the valve out. And of course, we've got lapping compound that's in there holding it pretty tight. And we're just going to use water to clean out. You definitely want to clean this out really, really, really well. You don't want to leave lapping compound in here because it's going to be wearing out valves. All right, but here's my lapping compound that I'm just going to clean off. And you can see we've just taken off a tiny bit of metal. But that's what needed to happen, you know, to seat this valve properly. So we're going to clean this out and see how it's doing. I'm going to first do the valve part and just kind of wipe this away. We are looking at an oil-based, I'm using an oil-based lapping compound, so I am going to have to use some Dawn to kind of degrease it a little bit. Of course, that did a great job. Dawn is awesome. Okay, I'm going to carefully set this valve down. And do the same thing for the horn here. Let's go ahead and rinse out the compound. A little bit of Dawn in there. And grab my brush. Scrub it out. I want to be careful not to let the horn bang around. I definitely want to scrub out this bearing. You can't see that, I'm sorry. Very important that you get all the lapping compound out, because that can be a very destructive substance. So after that initial tapping, you can see we do sit down further, and I can turn it by hand, but it's still a little bit rough. So we're going to have to lap this a little bit further before it is completely done. I can actually push it down into the casing properly now, but we just need to lap it so that it'll also rotate freely and smoothly. So it's been a really long time since I videoed on this horn, and actually a lot of water's been under the bridge. You may notice I actually got married, which is exciting. So, but anyways, I got this valve working. It still sticks a little bit, but as you can see, it is working. If I put a little bit of a stronger spring, it's gonna work really good. But this is the valve that was completely stuck. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put the horn the rest of the way back together. And deal with this issue with maybe a little bit more oil and a stronger spring. The valve's still really tight. It might need a tiny bit more lapping, but I'll work on that. But that's really exciting. New lapped valve, and now this horn is going to be able to play, maybe even for the first time in its life.